Welcome, dear students. Now I will be dealing with the breeding methods in cell-pollinated crops after hybridization. Means you are going to create viability after crossing two parents, two varieties. There are several methods for creating the variability and exploiting them to develop a new variety in a particular cell-pollinated crops. Here we are creating variability after by hybridization. What is our objective here? Here is our objective is just to create variability so that you can get transgressive segregants as per your objective. If your objective is, say for example in rice, if your objective is higher yield with good cooking qualities, so you have to search two parents, as I have already given the examples, live examples, that we are willing to develop such variety. Say for example, as we know that in India, this BPT 5204, BPT 5204, BPT 5204, this one. This is also known as Sambha Masuri. This is also known as Sambha Masuri. In rice in India, these there are two major mega variety, you can say. The another is MTU 7029. This is also known as Swarna. I have shown in my example these two varieties of rice. This is the second highest yielder, this Sambha Masuri. This is the first high yielder. 60 to 70 quintals per hectare average yield. And here 50 to 60 quintals per hectare average yield. So we are willing, this is very good. It's grain type, short grain, fine, short fine grain, you can say. This is very good in cooking. We used to have this in our daily food. We like it. But we wish to have better yielding ability, maybe equal to this M27029, whose seed quality is not up to that attractive, or the cooking quality is not up to that mark as you are getting in Sambha Masuri. So we are willing to develop such variety which can yield more or equal to Swarna and gives good grain type and cooking quality. If it is our objective, or if our objective is to have this Sambha Masuri with same yielding potential but reduced duration of maturity. Say for example, this is taking 145, 150 days in maturity. This is also taking 150, 155 days in maturity. This sort. So can we reduce the duration of these two varieties with same yielding potential? This will be very popular among the farmers. So these are the objectives. These objectives are depending upon your locality, demand of your area. So accordingly you are framing your objective, and then as I have said already in our example, that how you are going to get transgressive segregants. So try to have transgressive segregants, as I said, in segregating generation, the superior plants which you are getting, the superior to both the parents. In segregating generation F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, particularly you are concentrating on F2 and F3, maximum transgressive segregants. So as large as population you can grow, there is a chance, because of the crossing over and translocation, there is a chance which you are willing to get it. Maybe a single plant you may get. So can we do it? Yes, this can be done. So we are trying hard for the last more than a decade, but could not get till that which we are willing at as per our objective. Last year also I have made crosses between these two, which I have shown you in the field. To have let us have the transgressive segregant which we are willing. So what you are going to do with the transgressive segregant? Simple thing. You are going to develop finally in F7 generation by selection. In F7 generation, you are going to achieve homozygosity. So once you are getting homozygosity, means the plant which you have selected, which is superior, which is transgressive segregant, you have harvested it. You have achieved it in F7 generation. So it has become homozygous. The progeny will be homogeneous. So it is stable. So you can test it and release it if found suitable. So means you are exploiting transgressive segregants through after hybridization in self-pollinated crops. Why transgressive segregants? For developing a stable variety, which you can give to the farmers. They can use it for few years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Because it is self-pollinated crop. So capital A, small is capital A, capital B, capital C, small c, small c, small d, small e, whatever. Homozygous. Once they are they are harvesting their own seed, they will be getting same capital A, capital B, capital C, small c, small d, small e. They will be getting same genotype. So they can preserve it. So you will ask that why you are asking, sir, for changing after 2-3 years? Because in seed production at our research station, what we do isolation. We maintain the isolation distance to avoid the natural outcrossing, which is occurring up to 5% in self-pollinated crops, which farmers are not maintaining. We are avoiding mechanical mixture while processing the seed. We are doing those things that a single seed is not coming while processing, while threshing. So this is not being done by the farmers. That is why it gets mixture, mechanical mixture, or because of outcrossing, because of mutation, they are not going for roguing. So that is why we say that, dear farmers, you change your seed, whatever you are taking, even in self-pollinated crops, the stable varieties, stable varieties, homozygous lines, high-yielding varieties, pure line varieties, inbred varieties, not inbred line, inbred varieties. So you can have this seed, you can use this seed for 2-3 years. You are growing it this year, again you can use your produce this year. So after 3 years they should change it, because they are not maintaining its genetic purity. So come to transgressive segregants, because through transgressive segregants we are going to develop a new variety, entirely new variety which is not available. Say for example, if I am developing by crossing these two, I am developing a variety which is equally yielding than M27029, but very good in cooking quality like BPT5204. So we got a new variety which is yielding up to this, and cooking quality and grain quality like this, which was not available, which was the requirement of the farmers, consumers. So you got it. This is a new variety, entirely new variety in the world, you can say. So this is transgressive breeding. So whatever methods you are applying for exploiting transgressive segregants to develop a new variety, that can be said transgressive breeding. Whatever methods you are applying, whether you are using pedigree method, whether you are using bulk method, whether you are using even backcross method. But backcross method is, the objective is different. I will be dealing later on. But of course you can exploit transgressive segregants there also. So wherever you are exploiting transgressive segregants to develop new variety, that is called transgressive breeding. So I used to say that for transgressive breeding we are using, this is the best method, the pedigree method. This pedigree method is the best method of exploiting transgressive segregants, or you can say pedigree method is the best method of transgressive breeding. So you go back to the 1830, Vilmorin used this technique in France for developing new varieties. So since in this pedigree method for exploiting transgressive segregants, you are maintaining a pedigree record. So that is why this is also called pedigree method of breeding, though you are exploiting transgressive segregants here also. So in transgressive breeding, I used to say, I want to emphasize here that this is the best method of transgressive breeding for developing new crop varieties in all self-pollinated crops. This is all about today's lecture. Thanking you very much.